Same brain.
Sam, I'd like to thank you for coming to the Blessing the program. You know what I'm saying, man? Dip appreciate it.
My guys.
You got the city on fire right now. A lot of people want to hear from you right now. A lot of people mad at you right now. But this is what we're here for. This is TV. So we'll get straight into it. Where you from?
I'm from Baltimore, obviously, but I grew up all over the city. My mother grew up in South. I grew up with my mother in South Baltimore. Randall Street was our address, and then I grew up with my father in East Baltimore. We lived on Frisbee. So I had two very different Baltimore experiences, and I had moved around a little bit with both of them at different spots. But I would say, as far as like where I'm from, where I got my game from, and who I am now, I would say it's from a little bit of everywhere, but definitely my time in the Old York area, Walter P. Carter. That's where I was raised to be the player I was, and then the coach I am.
Now listen here, y'all. Now listen here, y'all. Just a little quick side note. The Old York dudes was a whole nother. When we was coming up, yes, it wasn't safe around there. How about that? This wasn't safe.
No, sorry.
You know what I mean? He wasn't safe. So what? You went to middle school?
I did. I went to Roland Park.
Roland Park?
Yeah. That's where I was a bit.
I'm getting above myself. When did you first touch a basketball? Well, when did you first start playing sports? And was there any other sports you played before basketball?
So I remember playing, I'll say the first sport I tried probably on a team was soccer, but I remember very early, maybe 3 years old, that like just picking up a basketball, having my, whatever toy hoop it was, I knew like from the beginning, this is the game that I love. And then I remember one time, like I said, my father stayed in East Baltimore. It was a court, it was crates, like they were playing on crates. My father had me down going like Barkley, and it was like in the back of the houses that are on Barkley. And you can actually see it coming up St. Paul. I forget the name of the little park that's right there, but I remember watching my father play. I might have been 6, 7 years old, maybe 8. And just seeing the atmosphere around the court and, just like, I want to play ball. I just knew it. I knew I wanted to play ball. And then, so I started to, and then like I said, so I had like a interesting dynamic. And
was your father, was he into basketball like you are now?
Not at all. So he was there. My father was he was a math teacher at Essex Community College, but he was a community activist in many ways. Okay. And so we were in that neighborhood because his best friends lived around there, and we were actually at his best friend's house, and the court was right in the back of it. So his best friend lived on Barkley, and he's playing in the court in the back. He wasn't like good, but he had love for the game. He had, we watched basketball in the house. But he really, I would say, so when we were there, like my father was the only white dude in the court, right? Okay. So I was, and I'm, 7, 8 years old. I saw it, right? And I do remember things. So anyway, so
did that do something to you? No, not even. Just period.
Yeah, no doubt. So I was raised, like when people talk about, like now, people talk about white privilege, and like I was raised to understand that it's real. I knew. My father told me, taught me like the roots of that when I was a very, as soon as I could hear. Okay. So it wasn't that I was like, I never ever felt scared or threatening. I look at the people around as family. These are my father's best friends. These are people that, come to my birthday parties. I go to theirs, you know what I mean? Like they're just family. But like I said, I also lived in South Baltimore with my mother, where it was a more integrated area, but still, poor, working class people. But, but they played a little more soccer down there. And when I played basketball down there, they looked at me like I was that guy. Like I was the guy, down in South Baltimore in terms of, playing ball. But then, it was a different level, in East Baltimore playing ball. So at least where I was in South Baltimore versus where I was in East Baltimore. So like all those dynamics, and I love the game. One of the things that, it did for me early in life was it like I played everywhere, man. I played down the Cage in West Baltimore. I played, you know, every neighborhood in the city. I felt like, you know, when we play, we come up, we want to play everywhere. And I'm like, this is a way, you know, I get it. Like, you know, I don't look like, you know, everybody else out here on the court, but like, you know, I'm here with my homeboys, I'm here with my friends. You know, I never felt like basketball was my sanctuary. You know, I knew early in life, like this was, you know, my way of just being comfortable everywhere. You know, this is my key to the city, I want to say.
One thing about what basketball do on that court, at least on that court, you know, you just playing.
Yeah.
It's competition.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're going to war with your brother. Your brother could be white. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That don't. It's a different world on and off that court.
Absolutely.
But that's neither here nor there. Keep on going.
So that was, I would say, the beginning is I grew up like as the man in South Baltimore as I was playing, and I was just kind of a little bit outside, you know, playing ball. And then when I was almost say 10 years old, my father took me down to Walter P. Carter and just dropped me off. And you know, I was there.
What was who the coaches? You remember the coaches?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Of course. So Coach Tommy was my first. Tommy Lovelace is his name. Okay. But he was my first coach down at Walter P. that made me feel like I could. You know, he really gave me confidence playing the game. I always thought I was okay or whatever, but I would say when I was like maybe 12 years old, he gave me a confidence. And it's fun, you know, we as a coach, you know, you got your systems you run and you got all these things you want to do. But the most important thing you can do is inspire somebody.
Sure.
You know, because like I do remember we ran this press called the Heat, but I just remember that it gave us confidence. And I remember playing for Coach Tommy. Coach Warner Wells ran the rec. Coach T, rest in peace, was you know, was a guy that was he didn't coach any teams, but he worked in the rec. And then Tommy Lovelace was my coach down there. And then you know, we had old heads down there. Dollar Bill, Will Barnes' father, was one of my old heads down there. And it was just a place where I just felt home. You know, I felt you know, it's what the rec centers did for kids in Baltimore back then. It was a place where, like, I remember thinking, like, you know, as we got to like 13, when you saw one of our guys stop coming down the rec, you knew he was outside. You knew he was doing different stuff. So it was like, you know, being at the rec, you know, having that, like, it was, I owe Coach Tommy so much, you know, in terms of the, you know, eventually being able to having the confidence in myself, because, you know, in the city, and I'm sure we'll get to it, you know, playing high school ball, you know, because I'm not going into high school. My big time basketball is Walter P. going into high school. Mm-hmm. So, you know, going into high school ball, seeing, you know, what Tommy Powley looked like, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a whole nother level for me. Like, I ain't there yet. But playing for Coach Tommy and the experience I had at Walter P., like you're saying about, like, you know, stuff got crazy. Like, by the time I'm 14, we've been in gym beating people up. Mm-hmm. You know, like, it was, so like, I just had confidence from that, you know, and just felt like, you know, being a part of Baltimore basketball, like I really was going to be able to do that. You know, be a part of the Baltimore basketball culture, the Baltimore basketball history tradition. I wasn't old enough to really think about how yet, but
you knew you wanted to be a part.
I wanted to be a part. I love the game. You know, I appreciated what the rec did for me. I saw what was going on in the city, how much of a part of the culture it was in our city from, you know, a real young age. And, you know, I wanted parts.
Now, Pete, he talked right now, we talk about how important those recs was. They was in each neighborhood. Now, one thing about the recs, you can get out of school, you go to the rec. You're gonna get your schoolwork done. There's gonna be somebody in there that's gonna make sure you're gonna get it done, or you're not going in the gym, or you're not gonna play whatever activity it may be, right? You're gonna get the assignment done, you're gonna eat, you're gonna play to run that steam off. The time you go home to take a shower or something, you tired, you're getting ready to go to school the next day. That's how important these recs is, but hey, but we can
talk for hours about how important those places were. in our city, how much we need them now for the young folks. And, you know, really, as a coach, and we can go into it later if you want, but I'm very competitive. You know, I wanted to win, obviously. You know, we worked really hard to become a winning program.
Oh, no, we will get there.
But we'll get there. But I want to say that, you know, my eventual real goal in this is to, like I said, have an impact in Baltimore basketball that goes beyond whether we win some games or not. And I want to see kids back in places like the rec centers. I want to be a part of starting some or collaborating with some like guys from our generation and doing. I mean, there's guys all over the place just doing great things and great work.
Yes.
And you know, getting us all together and, you know, bringing that kind of energy back to kids.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Now, we out of middle school.
Yep.
We going to Poly now. Was there any other schools you were thinking about? Or Poly, you were settling on Poly?
I would say it was either going to be Poly or Northern, and I was good enough in math. I knew I could go to Poly, and like I said, my father was a math teacher, so it was pretty much
a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, it was. And the thing is, I didn't choose a high school with basketball in mind. Oh, I didn't know who went there. I didn't know, like, you know, now so many people leave in middle school. Like that's the main, you know, reason why they're choosing a school is like, you know, how is the basketball going to be there? But like for me, I'm just going to the school that I think fit me best as far as school. And yeah, so I went to Poly.
So, all right, you get there. Now, you want to play basketball, but like you said, all this is new to you.
Yeah.
Only thing you know is Walter P.
Yep.
So now, you as a freshman, as what freshmen do that play ball, we talk. Well, it's usually the ones that really can't play. You know what I'm saying? They tell you what they're going to do at practice and how they're going to make the team.
Yep.
And they don't know if you're going to make the team. All that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that.
Walk us through that.
And it's cool to think about because it's an experience that, like, it humbles you early, and then when you finally do get to it, you cherish it more. So I think a lot of young people now, you know, they want to go to high school and start on varsity as a freshman. And sometimes it's not even like what's best for you.
Right.
You know, like it's good to go through it. So I barely made JV.
Right.
Like I remember tryouts. I remember some football dudes that was 10th graders that was, you know, a little strong out there playing wild, hacking. And I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna make this team. I remember thinking like halfway through the trials, like I'm not gonna make the team. And then I remember thinking like, yo, I have to make the team. Like this ain't no option not to make the team. And I remember turning it up like the last week of trials, getting a little more confident. And I mean, I barely made it, obviously, but I'm not by, you know, I wasn't a star.
It don't matter.
Yeah, I made it. And that's the thing.
You made it.
I felt accomplished making the team on JV as a freshman. I know that might look wild to people, but now, because of the perspective now, that was a big deal to me.
Yeah. So
I made the team. And with Poly, with the dynamic of Poly, at that point, there was still guys getting put out of school. We had so many talented guys there. So anyway, I made a few like
we still talking about.
Chris Barnes was a Poly guy.
Yeah.
You know,
shout out to CB and Tony Murphy.
My guys, yeah. Tricky was with us. One over the wall. Tricky was a Poly first, man. Yeah, listen, so many guys would come there and the Poly kicks your ass academic. I mean, it is not. It wasn't a game. It's not a game now. And so I say that to say we had some talented guys. Yeah. Oh, no doubt. It was not. It was. He told you when you got to Poly, your freshman, you sit down in orientation, say, look to your left, look to your right. At least one of them ain't gonna be here next year. Like one of them getting put out. So make sure it ain't you. So like that was the original speech. So like in the beginning, I'm just, you know, like I said, made JV, was happy to do that. Didn't get much playing time early in the season, late in the season, because of the academics. We had like, I think 2 guys failed off. So I started to get time, and I was a starter at the end of the last 4 or 5 games. Remember, I had like 25 in like my last game. So that gave me confidence going into the summer. Came back, no AU, played down Walter P.
Ain't nobody say anything.
I mean, I didn't even get burned on JV like that. Okay. So here's how that somebody saying something happened. So sophomore year comes, I tried out for varsity. I got cut. Wound up playing JV again, but I was the man. So I averaged like close to 30 a game on JV my sophomore year. And there was a couple sophomores that were on varsity playing my position, but they didn't get the experience of being able to go off. They're playing behind guys, right? So I'm getting experience. I'm getting confidence. I'm the guy on JV.
Yeah.
And we played Mervo, and Bucky was there. Yeah. And after the game, this is the first person to ever approach me about the way that I play basketball. It was Bucky Lee, first person ever. And he was like, man, you know, Bucky, like, come on down, man, check us out. I'm like, I play down Walter P. Coach. He said, man, they play like checkers with their head. Them boys don't know what the hell they're doing. You need to come down. So I went down Oliver after my sophomore year, and it was a whole new level of eye-opening experience. Our team, so I hadn't played any varsity basketball yet, and it was Reggie Bryant, Mo Hatton, Darnell Dassler,
all tough guys.
Yeah, you know, we had Dave Lund. We had Lee Green from Garretti was with us. What's my guy from Spalding? Strong dude.
Batman?
Yeah, Batman from Spalding. So we wound up going out of town. And this is when I really just like, you know, like I said, when I was young, I know I wanted to be a part, but as I started to become a part, like, so by the way, when I'm playing down, I told Bucky, I said, Coach, I still got to play with Walter P for Project and BNBL. He's like, no. I said, Coach, like, this is
that was like your thing.
Yeah. And for real, like, I understood that without Walter P, nobody in Baltimore know anything about me basketball. It's like, no. It's not like I was, you know, I wasn't a top tier guy, but people knew.
It was like this. It was like this. People knew when you played Walter P, you was playing Walter P. Oh, with the white boy that can shoot. Yeah. And it wasn't just a shooter, he was getting bucks. Ain't nobody play with him out there. It wasn't nothing like, oh, give me the ball. This is the weak link on the team. No, it wasn't none of that.
I appreciate that. But so that was my feeling then. But then, like, you know, you want to keep testing your level. And then so now I go down Oliver and I see Mo and how Bucky looks at him, and I see why. You know what I'm saying? For good reason. So basically, I'm coming off the bench behind Mo and Reggie. Two guys that, you know, respect a whole lot. But then also I'm getting to play against them. You know how Oliver,
two Big East point guard. Two Big East guards.
Yeah. So you know, so at Oliver, it was, you know, we played a lot. You know, we you know, it wasn't unorganized. Organized. We played, you know, for hours. So I got a lot of experience matching up against Mo and Reggie. And mind you, at this point, still only had played JV. So, but I remember days because, like I said, I'm a competitor. I always have been. So yeah, like I'm like, yo, like these guys are good. There's no, I shouldn't start over them. None of that.
Just be modest.
However, I'm telling you, at the end of the day, there's no question. Mo and Reggie, you know, I gave him some trouble at certain days, and I was like, I went home feeling like these guys are the best. Then I can compete, and I know it.
And listen, I know that to be true on the show because Reggie just told me some stories. He always gave you props, you know what I'm saying? So,
Reggie Brown, my guy.
Yeah, so you
look away as he. I mean, so like that's the thing. Back then, you know, we all had that competitive, but like now we appreciate each other a lot more. You know, I think we appreciate. You know, I remember seeing you and Tay out of town. We used to play for Christmas Addicts. I'm up in New Hampton. We playing in the tournament. Like I remember, and Reggie was at St. Thomas More at the time. Poole was at was at the prep school
of Philly.
Christmas Addicts.
No,
that was
Christian. It was Christian.
And he was killing that shit out there. So like I remember. So anyway, so back up. You know, being in Oliver, you know, it was like, all right, I had my neighborhood thing, and now, all right, we taking this show on the road. So we go out of town. With the group that I talked about, we had like 1 or 2 more. I think we only took 8 out of town with us. And we went 7-1, came to 6 in the country, and everybody used to come watch us. We had the plaid shorts, you know, and I remember thinking like, you know, Baltimore basketball, like it's just my pride in it and being a part of it just continued to grow. Like, you know, I always was proud to be from here, but then to be somebody that was a part of the Baltimore basketball community and understanding what the Baltimore basketball community, like how the impact could be like outside of Baltimore, like, we the shit national. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants these problems. I remember So I even remember a specific game we was playing. So I wasn't getting a whole lot of time, but I was playing. I was like 7th, 9th, and I remember Bucky. We're in the hotel. He told I think like 8th or 9th guy, like, you ain't ready. He looked at me and said, I think you ready, white boy. He's like, I'm gonna start you this game. So he started me with Mo. So he started with Mo. I had like 16. I think the team's name was the Detroit Roadrunners. They had like 2 6'10" dudes. I remember being out there in the flow. I remember like feeling like, yo, this is a national level game.
Yeah.
And
like
I belong.
Yeah.
I belong here. Like I can play in this type of shit. Like this ain't something that I should be fearful of or intimidated by. But I also remember like when I got back home, like I want to be better.
Yeah.
You know, at this point I'm still like a little chubby. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like taking care of nothing outside. I just let it hoop.
Right.
But I started like really understanding like I really want to be good at this game, and it's going to take a little bit more. So I go. So keep going.
Go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to my. So that's going to my junior year.
No, we didn't with you. We done passed the sophomore. We done passed the sophomore year. Yep. We did the summertime.
Yep.
Now this is junior year. You have a lot of confidence coming back to Poly.
Yep.
Who was on your team that year, your junior year?
Junior year, Dominic Harrison, my best friend to this day, was our point guard, twin. I was the 2.
Shout out
Tony.
Yeah. I said, no, I was just giving him a shout out.
My guy. So Tony Murphy was our 3. A guy named Cedric Ward, who wound up being a walk-on in Morgan, was our 4. And Big Jermaine, who wound up being like an All-American at Villa Julie, was our 5. But so Chris Barnes had left already. And then we had a guy, Tim Frazier, wound up being a quarterback at Hampton, was a guy we had coming off the bench. Kendrick Tillman, everybody knows him as DJ 5-Star now. He was coming off the bench, but like, you know, these ain't household Baltimore basketball names. You know what I mean?
No. But this is how I feel. Right? You laced them up. Yeah. You jump on that baseline. You had to do some sprints. You in the family. I don't care what level.
Basketball fan.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm a junior, and I'm feeling good. First 5 games, we scrimmaged Randallstown there at D-Mon. Had like 18. That was our first scrimmage. I'm like, I had 18 in my first varsity scrimmage. And then I came out the bench. I had 18 in the scrimmage. He said, Coach pulled me up, said, you're going to start from the first game of the season. So first couple games of the season.
How was that relationship with the coach?
It was funny because so the guy's name was Bucky Kemet, and he's a Poly legend. If you're a Poly person, you definitely know about him. He coached football there with Augie Wobble. He's a defensive coach and then was a basketball coach there about 20 years. But he also was very confident. He saw what I'd done on JV, and then I remember pulling me up after scrimmage. I didn't think you were going to come back. He didn't know I played down. It's not like I talked to him about stuff like that. So after the season, it ain't like how I'm with our guys. After the season, it's like, all right, coach, so I'll see you in November. Okay. So we didn't do any off-season workouts, none of that. So junior year, start off, I remember first 5 games, they split the top scores in the Sun. I'm in I think I averaged about 18 a game, the first 5, so I'm up there. And we got Northern came up the Poly, right? So Mo Smith and Dante Pennant, right? And then, I forget my man, the coach, Nardo, right? Yeah. So he's coaching. For the game, I remember saying, like, Coach, don't hurt.
Y'all 30.
Probably like 25, and Mo probably had like 18. Yeah. And so my man Antron Marshall also on that team. Shout out to Tron. And so they had some tough guards. And Taz, I had 0.
What?
I ain't scored.
Against Northern?
Against Northern, I had 0. And what it was for me, though, I'll never forget. It's the only game in my entire life I have not scored, ever. And I was, I remember like real, and like, Mo is my guy. I love him, see him to this day. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I hope these things shut me down, Mo. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is they did. Reality is they did. And it was my first time thinking like, never, like start feeling yourself. You're gonna get knocked on your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as soon as it was, for sure. Absolutely it was. But I got it back. One we played Annapolis, was pretty good a couple games later. And I had a big game out there. And then I remember so our wins there, you know, like at that point, and we talk about this now, so y'all have talked, everybody has somebody. Everybody, like every team.
Yeah.
Virgil's at Emerson, you got Ed Cook at Northwestern. Like, it wasn't no school that you're gonna play and not be challenged. Right. But I remember, you know, going through my junior year, feeling pretty good about, you know, matching with Mike and Carver. Like, it was just, you know, guys everywhere.
Yeah.
So I felt good about. I think I wound up averaging like 16 by the end of the year. But I felt real good about it, and you know, I felt confident going into the summer. Now, so I think I'm going back to play with Bucky.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
That summer, since you was a shooter like that, was there any type of regimen you was doing?
So I would say, like, no one worked me out my entire high school career. Until I got to prep school, I never did like a workout with somebody. But
so you was like untapped potential too.
No, everything so I took strength shoes.
I mean, your dad was there, but I'm talking about like a basketball.
Yeah, I would embrace that so much. But I also appreciate that, like, so we do group workouts with our guys now, and they're great. I love them. But I tell them, like, when I was in school, I went and bought a pair of strength shoes, and when the bell rung, I went behind the bleachers on the football field by myself for 6 months straight, and I still couldn't jump. It didn't help me a whole lot, you know, athletically. Yeah. But in my mind, like, I knew I was working at it. So, like, I didn't have, like, I made 300 shots a day, but there wasn't a day I didn't go to an outside court and shoot. Okay. There wasn't a day, like, I lived basketball. And so I wish, like, eventually, we used to sneak in gyms and, like, first one to make 53s or something like that. Like, so stuff like that was there, but no, regiment, I didn't learn regiment until I got into prep school, like what that meant. I just loved the game and I did work at it. But so it's different between working hard and working hard with a plan. You know what I mean?
Now, all right, junior, I mean, going into your, we're at summertime now.
Yep.
You think you're going back down to play with Alex? What happened?
So I'm thinking I'm going back to play. I got the, whatever, I don't know, we ain't had no text. I don't remember, I knew that we had practice. And I missed the first 2 practices, right? So then I go down, 3rd practice, and he kicked me out the gym.
But he said, man, what you doing here, man?
You missed the first 2 practices, you cut. I said, what? I'm cut. Oh, we had a great summer. I was getting my thing, you know, I was finally getting a rhythm, you know, the previous summer. And, you know, it was another thing that, like, it was a learning experience for me. I didn't even try. I did not get a chance to try for Oliver going into my senior year. And
that was your fault, though.
It was my fault. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It really was a learning experience. Like I'm happy that Bucky did that for me. I really am. And you know what? You know, I bet if I was a little bit better, he might have been a little bit easier on me. However, he was hard on everybody, though. You know what I mean? And even though, like, guys like, you know, Mo and Damien was like his sons, you know, he still was hard on them too. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate him being hard on me. I spent the summer at Walter P. Me and Tion Carroll playing one-on-one full court up on, you know, up top.
Shout out to Tion. Tion, I'm looking for you, T.
Yeah, T, you need to come get with Taz, man. So, you know, worked with him, worked, you know, more neighborhood stuff, but really also I was going through so I moved in with this is really a part of, you know, the other than basketball side. So my father at that point had got multiple sclerosis and got in the wheelchair, and it was like this. It had to, like, overnight had to be in a wheelchair. So I moved in with him full time. I started taking care of him. Twin moved in with us. It was like, you know, I basically became a grown up like that. You know what I mean? Where I was taking care of things and I wasn't responsible. So, like, not going to AAU practice, going into my senior year even, I failed off. I didn't get to play. So I did not play high school basketball in Baltimore my senior year. And if there's anything in life that would say I have a regret, because you don't want to live with regrets, but I wish I'd have been able to do that. Like I hate that I didn't get to play my senior year. I really like it. It has burned me up because when we talk about, you know, like I care about Baltimore basketball and the tradition, I didn't get the chance to put my senior year on the city. You know what I mean? Like to see what I could have done because I did well as a junior, but 3 of the 5 starters were seniors. I felt like I was going to do it. Like I was going to be one of the top guys up there. Mm-hmm. So I learned another lesson that failed off the team. Wound up going to I went to New York. I had a brother up there that I had a relationship with him, but not really. Mm-hmm. And he was one of my father's.
Hold up, where was you mentally before you got to New York, right?
Oh man.
And yeah, tell the people where you was at mentally.
I was at a real rough spot. I remember the last day I was at Poly. You know, I remember it was not a good day. Like I was just in a tough space. This is my dream. Like playing, like to me, it was just as big a deal to play my senior year at Poly as if I was like about to play in the NCAA tournament or the ACC. You know, like this was, you know, this is my time. This is my chance to like really make my impact and be like, you know, be able to. I want to be able to sit down here, you know, 20 years later, talk about, you know, what my senior year was like. But you know, like everything that happens like that becomes a blessing in your life. But at the time, I was mentally, I was out. It was rough. It was a rough time.
Now, you said you and your brother at the time didn't have a relationship like this. No. Now, was you taking college basketball at this time?
Yes, for sure. I knew I wanted to play. It still wasn't like no college coach talked to me after my junior year. Like I said, I didn't play AAU, so like I was being recruited. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I wanted to play, but I didn't know what it meant to be a Division I player necessarily. Like who was a D1 and versus who was D2. I don't know that. Like I just love to play. So he was a teacher up there and at a high school where they had different eligibility standards. So I had 7. So, you know, one of the Poly things is everybody else in the city was taking 5 classes. Mm-hmm. And if you failed, was it 3? It might have been if you failed 3, you was ineligible, right? So like you can pass 2.
I think it started like that, and then it was like, I think.
You know what? They changed it from 3 to 2.
Then it like 60s.
And then it was exactly. So at Poly, it was 70s and you could only fail 1.
Okay.
We had a different policy. So, you know, I just didn't, I failed. I remember I failed SAT prep and the teacher told me I was going to pass like the week before. I remember I almost did some real stupid stuff after that happened. But, you know, there was just
hold up, y'all. Let me make this disclaimer real fast. He failed off of Poly.
Yes.
It's different from failing off of Lake Clifton and Douglas Team. Do you hear me? So when y'all come to me talking about I failed off of anybody other than Poly, I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to city that church on the hill. But hey, other than that, no, you stupid. All right, go ahead.
Well, I felt stupid at the time for doing it because I had the capability to do it the right way, but it was more of, you know, just kind of having freedoms that I wasn't used to or wasn't ready for. And anyway, it turned out to be a good thing. So I went up to New York. I wound up playing the second half of the season. Was at a school that had never been to the state sectionals. Led the team in scoring, took us there. We went to the county center in New York. I had all these articles written, but it was like, for me, it was hard because I didn't even care. I wanted them articles to be written in the Baltimore Sun. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know nobody up here. But what was cool about it,
I know it felt good
to be able to play. Oh, I loved it. It was cool. And then like, I also had experience we had, because it was a town, not a city. So when we won the section, like they was treating me real, like it was fun. It was fun. You know, we went to the section, thousands, like the whole town came out with buses and parades and stuff like that. So it was cool to have an experience there's nothing like what I think happens in Baltimore basketball, but it was cool. It's just a different type of high school basketball. So it was cool. But what I did get there is I got recruited to play prep. Okay. So that's when I went to New Hampton, and the year I saw you guys, the year I saw Reggie, you know, and then also another level.
Now, for the people that don't know, New Hampton and New Hampshire League, right?
Then
the New England
League. Yeah,
New England League.
Yeah, Class A. It was, Maine Central, St. Thomas More, Karan Butler was up there at the time, Lamar Johnson, Zeke was playing with Karan Butler up there. So you had a couple Baltimore guys up there. I think KB went to MCI.
Yeah. Jamal went there.
Sam Cassell. So yeah, the New England Prep League was thick. We had 12 Division I players that signed on my team.
Did Stink go there?
Stink did too. Yeah, he told me that. I didn't even know that. Stink told me that earlier this summer. I didn't even know, but Stink was up there as well.
Yeah. So we're just giving y'all a little. Now that's a Division I. That's a Division I league.
Absolutely.
Like
my team there was better than any team I played on in Morgan. Not even close.
Yeah, that's prep.
We would have beat the crap out of Morgan every team I played.
Yeah,
no question. So, but the experience up there, because I know we got to talk about the poly basketball coaching, but it was. I appreciate getting to talk about it all because it all led to it. We had our starting lineup. So I go up there now. I had taken the team. In New York, I'm feeling myself again. Feel good going in, and there's 13 Division I players on this in here. We playing pickup. I feel good in pickup, but I had never played organized. They had a real system they ran. We didn't run plays nowhere I'd ever been.
Yeah.
So and you had, and if you know up there, like the league, they're like that's who they are in the league. They run plays, they run systems and sets. So I remember I was doing good in the pickup. I never lifted weights before. We started lifting weights. I'm getting sore. My body's changing. We running this new offense, and I struggled early. I was on the end of the bench. I literally remember being in those dorm rooms, like we in the middle of the mountains in New Hampshire. The only people on the campus that we talking to are each other. It's just the team. We developed real strong relationships. But so we had a guy named Bernard Robinson, who played in the NBA from DC. That was my guy up there.
Now Bernard, we contacted each other about 2 months ago.
Okay.
Come on. Come on now.
Yeah, I would love to see him.
Come on now.
Oh, he came down the side note. I remember when he came down to Baltimore at Coppin. Oh my goodness. That's how I knew when I played with him up there. I'd already seen him, but I'm like, this is
jab step.
Oh, lefty smooth. I mean, yeah, Bernard was the real deal. He was the first person I played against. Like I said, I played against, a lot of big time guys. He was the first person I played against on a day-to-day basis that frustrated me to the point where it tested how much I felt like I can't say it, but I felt that I couldn't beat him.
Okay.
I felt that like this dude's just that much better than me.
Nice.
Like it was hard. It was hard to deal with because none of the other dudes up there I'll talk all kind of shit. I'm not talking to Bernard too, but it didn't work. You know what I mean? Like he was that good.
Yeah.
But I experienced that up there early in the season. Didn't play. Worked my butt off. At the end of the year, I'm starting on New Hampton. I went from 12th man to starting, which is why as a coach, when you're the 12th man on my bench, I ain't trying to hit.
Right.
I've been there.
Right.
And I earned my way to the starting line.
Right.
You can do it too.
You hear?
You can do it too.
Do you hear parents?
It's the truth. It's on you. And so, I remember all right, first I took the backup 2-guard spot. He wound up going. He went to Army. But he was a chump. I know it. Every day in practice, I'm like, I'm going to bust his ass. And then the starting 2-guard, he wound up being an all-time league scorer at Lafayette. And he could play. But I remember I was working. They gave me the starting out tournament up there. I wound up finishing the year. Point guard went to North Carolina. 2-guard was me, went to UMBC. Really played in Morgan, though. That was my school. 3 was Bernard, went to Michigan. 4 is my guy, Mike Roberts, who's coaching at Indiana now. Who played in Indiana, and the 5 was Gabe. I forget Gabe's last name, but he went to Cal. Right. So it's 4 high majors and me.
Right.
So I felt real good about my experience there. Once again, starting like it's how Poly. When we started, in the bottom and the back, and at the end, I was a starter and felt real good about it.
Now, a funny thing, side note, I had an application to go to New Hampshire that year.
Oh man,
I did. But it was what happened. I think what happened. Wichita. I started talking to Wichita or something because New Hampshire posted. I think it was.
I didn't even miss it, and it was tough.
Yeah, but I feel that fell through. That fell through. But that's neither here nor there.
I want to say this too. I remember seeing you and Tay in Philly that year. I mean, I don't remember where the tournament was. Y'all was from Philly. The tournament somewhere.
Oh, we was the national championship.
It was before the national championship. We seen y'all. I remember y'all had wound up winning the national championship, but we played in the New England Prep Championships late. We had played in some tournament together. I don't remember where it was. I remember seeing you at tape. But I say that to say I remember in that game. It was earlier in the season. That's how I know it was early because I wasn't playing a lot. And I remember like, yo, these are my guys. And Pooh and them was there too. Pooh and them was at the tournament too. So some tournament y'all was at, Pooh and them was at, and we were at. So anyway, I remember seeing y'all and Pooh and thinking like, this ain't how I want to represent Baltimore. I'm on the fucking bench. Like, this not how, we don't come from there and go and not represent. I got to get, it was part of my motivation to get on the floor. I swear, I remember seeing y'all like, yo, I got to work this. I got to get on the floor. Yeah. Like, so, and I did. So I wound up, I didn't play till the end of the year. I had like 4 or 5 Division II scholarships up in New England. And I started with 4 high majors. And at that point, I did understand more about levels. I thought, I'm playing this one basketball. Okay, what I got to do. Like, I'll go figure out how to get in school somewhere. So they sent my tape to UMBC. I walked on at UMBC. Didn't get any playing time as a freshman early. Had a practice where we were out of town at a practice, and if anybody played in UMBC, they know the story. We had a practice out of town. We were doing a scout scrimmage. We played the next day. And we kept scoring the scout scrimmage. So I remember I had like 25. I started talking shit to the starter and then to the coach. So I'm like, yo, I'm 25 and I don't even see the floor. Like, so we wound up getting into it, put me off the team. At that moment, I took my jersey.